Hey, I'm Hybrid Joe, and I've transformed my physique from this to this in only 1 year of training. And in this video, I'll tell you how to fix a problem which is very common in young athletes and young adults who go to the gym often and lift. And that problem is anterior pelvic tilt. Basically, what anterior pelvic tilt is, it's when your pelvis tilts forward to the point where your butt sticks out and your posture looks bad. Now, an anterior pelvic tilt is when your pelvis tilts forward, and posterior pelvic tilt is when your pelvis tilts inward. And in most cases, anterior pelvic tilt is caused by weak glutes and weak abs and tight hip flexors and tight lumbar spinal erectors. And anterior pelvic tilt can hinder your progress if you're training calisthenics, since a lot of calisthenics exercises actually often require posterior pelvic tilt, which is the opposite of anterior pelvic tilt. And if you're not able to tilt your pelvis posteriorly, it will make balance and calisthenics moves way harder. And the best posture in most cases is neutral pelvic tilt, neither anteriorly or posteriorly. A slight anterior pelvic tilt isn't that bad. It might even be considered healthy. But if you have severe anterior pelvic tilt, it's better if you try to fix it. Now, moving on to how to fix it. First, we're gonna start off with learning the control and the mind-muscle connection of how to tilt your pelvis posteriorly. Or in other words, how to have a posterior pelvic tilt. Now, this can be learned by doing either lying pelvic tilts or standing pelvic tilts. And if you really want to understand how to tilt your pelvis posteriorly, you can also do both. And now that we have an exercise for control, now we can move on to strengthening the weak muscles and stretching the tight muscles. Now, the first muscle that we're gonna want to strengthen is the glutes. And to strengthen the glutes, you can either do one of these exercises. You can do either hip thrusts or glute bridges. Both are excellent for overall glute development and glute strength. And you can also overload them with weights. And be sure to maintain a posterior pelvic tilt during the range of motion. Now, the next exercise to strengthen the abs or the core is called an RKC plank. Now, this is a variation of a plank which studies have shown to work the upper and lower abs way better than the normal plank. Now that we have two exercises for strengthening the glutes and the abs, we'll move on to stretching the tight muscles, which is most commonly tight hip flexors and tight lumbar spinal erectors. Now, the first stretch is a lunge stretch. You basically get in the position of a lunge and you maintain posterior pelvic tilt while trying to lean forward. This heavily stretches the inner part of your thighs, and you should do this stretch on both sides. Now, the next stretch is a rectus femoris stretch. You also get in a position of a lunge, but you try to pull your back leg up to your glutes, of course while maintaining posterior pelvic tilt. You should do this on both sides and try to hold it for as long as you can. Now, the next stretch for the lumbar spinal erectors or the lower part of your back is a child's pose. A child's pose is meant to decompress the spine and to relax the lower back. It removes tightness, especially in the lower portion of your back. And this is the only stretch in this routine where I wouldn't recommend maintaining posterior pelvic tilt, since this stretch is supposed to relax the tightness. And overall, if you follow this routine well, you should see results in fixing your anterior pelvic tilt. But the most important part about this, of course, you won't see results if you're sitting like a shrimp all day. Even if you're following this routine, you won't see big results if your posture all day is very bad. So you need to consciously try to correct your posture throughout the day. And by doing that and maintaining this routine, your anterior pelvic tilt should become way better. I hope this video helps. Good luck on your journey.